Hello everyone, welcome to IELTS Juice. Let's assess a letter today. So the prompt says, you have just read an article in an international travel magazine which contains some information about your town that is incorrect. Oh my God. Write a letter to the editor of the magazine. In your letter, correct the information in the article, explain why it is important for the magazine to give correct information, suggest what the magazine should do about this situation. So let's see. Here's the letter. So every time before we write a letter, I would like you to use your imagination. So imagine you are inside the office of that magazine and you are going to receive a letter like this. And this, as the editor-in-chief of that magazine, somebody who has to read their audience's letters or reviews or comments, it's his or her job. It's actually your job now. We're imagining a situation. It's your job to read the letter, go through it, and take action. So it's very important to see what you react when you receive a letter like this. I want you to imagine, because your reader, which is going to be the examiner, is going to read and is going to check if you understood the task well or not. And that is an important part of task achievement here. So let's see. Dear sir or madam, I have read an article about my city, which is not correct. I have read an article about my city, which is not correct. I wouldn't put a comma here, which is not correct. And I would like, I need a comma here, and I would like to highlight these false information. Now, these false information, information is an uncountable noun. So you need to use this information and correct it. But if you really want to quantify information, you can use information bits or information pieces. And if you decide to do that, then be careful, because now I as a reader would expect you to give me instances of false information bits. So there's information number 1 or information bit number 2, and there is information bit number 3. So I expect you to give me numbers. So it's very important. Well, the way I see it right now is just a mere vocabulary mistake, and that quite frankly is fine for us. There isn't anything else that we can get from this introduction. The introduction is also a very good opening here. I like that. Firstly, another word that I really like. You have mentioned that my city has 3 parks, which are small and do not have any equipment for children. You see, I like this. The writer knows equipment is an uncountable noun, so you can see it is used very correctly here. That are wrong. Now, not have any equipment for children, which is wrong, I think, because we're talking about the action. We're not talking about the parks. The parks are not wrong, but the information is wrong. Which is wrong? Because the government recently... Okay, now let's hold on a minute. We need a good topic sentence. We need to say that in this paragraph, I'm going to talk about this false information bit. Okay. So we need one sentence. I don't need everything in the first sentence. You don't have to tell me because it is due to reason A, which is blah blah and reason B, which is blah blah. That is confusing for the first sentence. We need one topic sentence which gives a gate, which acts as a gateway for us to read ahead, read the paragraph. So we need a gate, an entryway, and then let the reader carry on reading and see what the other sentences are about. So in this case, I would say which is wrong, and that's it, full stop. The reasons are, or the reason, maybe it's one reason. The reason is because the government recently has built 4 parks with modern facilities for children. Okay, the first reason, yeah, the parks, not good. The parks are not reflected very well. Moreover, okay, you have published that my city does not have any university. Gosh, that doesn't sound good. I mean, the city not having any university. Many cities don't have universities. Okay, but this, I mean, the sentence gives me this vibe that it's bad. That my city does not have any university. While the city, or my city, where I live, has 2 prestigious universities. Remember, this is a formal letter. We are writing a letter to the editor-in-chief of a reputable or somewhat reputable magazine. And it's best to keep it formal. One of the items that we need to be mindful of or be careful about when we write a letter, a formal letter, is for digits below 11. So it's 10, 9, 8, 7, all the way to 1 and 0. It's better to write them with letters, not in digits. So 2 here would have been better written in TWO instead of the digit 2. Prestigious universities related to engineering and medical, oops, a dangling adjective, maybe medical science, or simply medicine. Medicine is the noun here that we need, related to engineering and medicine, whose names are respectively LL University and DD University. Beautiful, beautiful names. How can I apply for LL University? So, regarding to, okay, now look, we need to say with regard to why it is significant, blah, blah, or just regarding why it is significant, and then you continue. So regarding why it is significant for your magazine to give reliable information, I would say that as your magazine is very recognized throughout the world, wow, so it's a huge magazine. Thus, you would influence many people in a negative way. That would be disappointing. So this sentence doesn't give the message you actually want to say. I think the letter wanted to say that since you have this significant reach, many people would read your articles and they would get their information from your sources. And if the sources are wrong, then they get wrong information. They might be under negative influence. But this sentence somehow gives me the idea that you could influence many people in a negative way. It's like it's your job. You always give people negative influences, which is, I'm sure it's not the intended version of this letter. So I suggest that we just say you could reach many people, and they use you as their source of information or reliable information. And it's very important that you give honest, clear information to your audience, and avoid using these negative terms. That would be disappointing. So this is a totally different structure. I need a comma here, and this is a totally different topic. So that the fact that people read and get negative influence would be disappointing for us back in home, back in the city. That deserves maybe its own paragraph, or maybe at least a couple more sentences. I wouldn't write this. This is such an important part and requires more development, especially for those who are going to select this district for life. That's understandable. We need a comma before, especially, and the period here, the full stop here is not necessary. In relation to what your magazine could do, I would recommend you print. So after recommend, you just carry on with your subject, verb. You basically write another sentence. So I would recommend you print another article in the next. I think that the writer may not know the word cycle here. That's a jargon for newspapers and magazines. Or maybe you could say next volume or next publication, but not in the next article. You print another article in the next article. You don't print article in another article. That doesn't happen. In which you could correct your false information. Okay, now that's judgmental now, a little bit. You could correct your not entirely correct information. Or maybe you give them a chance to reflect on it. Yes, the information they printed was wrong, and you prove them it was wrong, but it's best not to show them again. That sounds. I as a reader, I'm reading it, and this says it's false information. Now let's read, and you could compensate your failure. Oh my God, that's very judgmental. Your failure by apologizing to my fellow citizens in this area. Okay, gosh, oh my God, I can picture the editor-in-chief right now that he or she would tear your letter apart, or is going to create a paper ball and will throw it into the garbage bin. Okay, that is very direct, and direct language is good for informal letters, but in formal letters, being direct doesn't sound very polite. I will appreciate if you consider these changes. Yeah, I will appreciate if you kindly consider I would appreciate it if you consider these changes if you could consider these changes in the next printed magazine. Yeah, that would be a better sorry, that would be a better way to end the letter. Again, the closing line is very polite, and I like it. Faithfully, and then you sign off with your name. So 213 words. Now let's look at the assessment table. So yes, you also saw the errors. The requirements of the task was addressed, but the tone could be more. The tone was consistent, but not. I mean, appropriate, yeah, but not in all circumstances. But the purpose of it is generally clear. Generally, it is clear. Again, at one point, you just at the beginning, the letter tried to say the error in the article, and at the end, it was very direct, very judgmental. So you as a imagine, put yourself in an editor-in-chief shoes, and what would you want me to do? It's like, you apologize, you change them. That would be very direct. Maybe a polite way would be to please address this promptly. Let's fix this. Maybe you can arrange another reporter to come in person and visit the place, and then they can publish a much better written, more accurately written article in the next cycle. Yes, the organization of information was logical because the bullet points were there and all the 3 bullet points were addressed. But there were instances that the connection between sentences were faulty, and the discourse markers somehow were not accurately written. The paragraphs were clear, but still there was room for improvement in case of paragraphs. And the referencing, it, them, and then the which, that we had to guess where these words lead us to. That would be another problem that would make it a 6. Vocabulary-wise, there were some errors. The range was adequate, so you can expect a 6. And the grammatical range and accuracy, again, there are you could see the mix of complex and simple sentences, but complex sentences come with some errors. Simple sentences come with some errors, and in 1 or 2 instances, the errors affected the reader's understanding. Anyway, all in all, this was a very good letter, a little judgmental towards the end, but still a very well written one. It deserves a 6. And remember, as always, your essays, your letters, and your reports are your representatives. So make sure they do their jobs well, and I wish you a lovely day ahead.